guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. So today I'm going to make some Super Bowl party treats, and these are easy, they're fun, it gives the guests something to talk about, and they have more choices than making a large version. So I'm going to make some mini personal pizzas. And I've done this pizza dough before, but I'm going to do it again for you, for those of you that haven't seen it. And we're going to have all kinds of toppings to do these. And I'll just show you a little different idea of what you can do for Super Bowl if you wanted to have pizza snacks. It's an easy party treat that everybody loves. So that being said, I probably will use some Wild Tree products in this process, and if I do, and you're interested in finding more out about them, they're an all-natural, all-organic company that I work for, and you can go over to my website. I'll have that link posted in the description box below, or show more box below. And I also have my Facebook page over there. You can go over there, check out my Facebook page, see who I like. You get notifications probably quicker than getting on YouTube if you don't get on YouTube every day. If you're on Facebook every day, that's the way to go. You'll get my videos as I post them. All right, guys. So I hope it inspires you to stay along and see what I got planned for you. All right, come on, let's go make some pizzas. I am so glad you guys decided to stay for this. This is such an easy recipe, and it's my go-to pizza dough recipe. I'm gonna make enough for an example of what I am doing. You can double this recipe. It works really well if you double it, but I'm gonna just do a single recipe for you, and then I can make my little pizzas. Anyway, this pizza dough has olive oil and honey, and it's a very yeasty dough, if that makes sense. So we're gonna get started, and I'll show you what I do. Okay, so you're gonna start off with I'm going to start off, I'm going to get some warm water in this cup, because you want the temperature where if you stuck your finger in there, you go, oh, that's nice and warm, but it's not the reaction to take it out. It's warm, not hot. And you don't want hot, because if you get it too hot, you will kill the yeast. If you don't get it hot enough, you're going to, you're not going to have it wake up for you. I keep my yeast in the freezer just because it's easier for me. Okay, so get this water, and this is just about perfect. It might be a little warm, so I'm going to cool that off. Now I've got it nice warm, like a warm bath, not a hot bath again. And then I'm just going to give it a little drizzle of honey to give that yeast something to start feeding on. I mean, we're talking a drop. You could do a pinch of sugar if you wanted, but I've got the honey out, so that's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of give that a little stir. Okay, now I need to put my yeast down. And I absolutely love yeast doughs. They are so good. And this jar seals on its own in the freezer. And that's from July of 2011. Wow. Or maybe that's just the lid I'm using. I think that's just the lid I'm using. I'm like, wait a minute, I know I've done more bread than that. So on the yeast portion, it's 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. And you can eyeball it. It's not an exact science. If you got, more than that, it's going to be okay. Then I just give that a chance to for the yeast to bloom, and that means it's starting to wake up, and you'll see it will get kind of frothy, and it'll actually start working and eating that sugar and feeding on that honey. So there you go. I leave that, and it usually takes about 5 minutes. If you don't see it change from this state and get frothy on top, something's wrong with your yeast. I've only had yeast be bad once, and when I was trying to impress a friend with homemade bread, and I couldn't figure it out. It ended up flatbread because the yeast had gone bad, and it was expired by quite a while. It wasn't very good. And so I just set this yeast, or the yeast mixture aside. And in my, my good old KitchenAid mixer, I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of flour. And you can use all-purpose flour, you could use whole wheat, you could use a combination. It's really up to you what you have on hand and what you want to do. You don't need self-rising though, because you've got yeast. Okay, a little bit more, and I've got 1.5 cups. Okay, that out of my way. Sorry, I can't handle anything on the counter. It makes me crazy. Okay, and now to that flour mixture, and this is not on the plain recipe, but to the flour mixture, I am going to add a heaping teaspoon of my garlic galore dip blend from Wild Tree. It's an amazing spice. It's absolutely delicious. And I use it whenever I can. So, ooh, and now the yeast is starting to, there's kind of like a little explosion in there. It's starting to activate and work. Let me see if I can get a close-up of that for you. Oh my gosh, it's like really going crazy. Hold on. Hold on, let's see what we got here. Can you see that? It's starting to get the bubbling going, and you've got a nice frothy top. It was like all that yeast exploded to the top like a volcano. I wish I would have been faster. So I'm definitely saying that yeast has bloomed. We're gonna, hold on here. Stir that around a bit. And we'll see what happens here. All the little bubbles and stuff. It's definitely moving and it's active, so we're going to go ahead and call that good, and we'll get that in the mix. All right. Now, I'm going to go over and set you down again. Okay, so that's pretty cool. This yeast is definitely viable. I'm excited to have it wake up and be, you know, just going to take on some bread and make it delicious. You know how that goes. Gotta have it. So, give it one last little bit of stir. Okay, going back to the recipe. Now we've got to get our honey in there. And let me see here. We've got 2 tablespoons of honey. And what I do is I get one of my, because I can't find my tablespoon. Somebody has misplaced it for me. I have other people using my kitchen now, and so I spray a little bit of non-stick spray. You could use olive oil spray, whatever you want. That just keeps it from sticking onto that spoon, so I can get it off into the flour easily. That's one, slides right off. Same thing if you were going to put it in a measuring cup. You'd want that to happen. And normally I don't measure, but I thought that was a nice little tip for you guys that have not been cooking a long time. And that one slides right off as well. Okay, so, and then we want the olive oil in here. I need 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. And it's up to you what kind of olive oil you use. I actually prefer closer to 2 tablespoons, so that's what I did. And then it's time to add the yeast and get mixing on this. Okay. Get your dough hook down, lock it in place, plug it in. Plug it in. There you go. And I'm going to let that get all stirred up, and then I'm going to knead that dough for 7 to 10 minutes, and I'll bring you back when I'm ready to move it to the little resting place so it can rise. Okay, so now this dough has kneaded for 7 to 10 minutes. I'm going to unlock it, lift this up. There should be nothing stuck on your bowl at all. If you've got this dough correct, it's done. It won't stick to your hands easily. I had to add a couple tablespoons of flour. Oh, it smells so good. Just because it was a little bit more wet than usual, even though you want a soft, pliable dough, but you want it like this. It's not sticking to you. There's nothing on the bowl. Look at that, how clean inside that is. And that takes a few minutes. You just have to be patient and go ahead and add a tablespoon at a time until you get it right. And then what I'm going to do is, let me drop my hands here, is let it rest in this glass bowl here. You could let it rest in the bowl that I had, but I don't know. For visual purposes, I always go to what I think you can see best. And I've covered the bottom of the bowl with olive oil, same olive oil I used in the dough, and made sure that it's coated up top and bottom. And we're going to have beautiful pizza dough to work with. We're going to let it rise. I want it to double in size. So what I'm doing, because it's kind of chilly, even though, I've got my heater on, I have my on-the-counter oven. You can do this with your big oven as well. Put a towel down over it. I had that oven on 200. As soon as it gets to 200, turn it off, open the door, stick that in there, and don't touch it. You can leave the light on. That also adds some warmth, and so we're going to do that, and I'll bring you back when it's done. Okay, guys, I am ready to get these pizzas on. I just wanted to run down what I'm going to have to choose from. And I've got, this is my last block of cheese that I waxed a year and a half ago. And I'm gonna open that up and grate it. I'm thinking it's mozzarella, but it actually ends up tasting like cheddar. So I'm gonna grate some of that. We'll open that and show you how that is. I just did a cheese waxing video, so if you haven't seen that, go over to my channel, search that. I've got 2 of them. The most recent is the most complete. I have some medium rare New York steak right there, some gorgonzola, because that goes good with beef. I've got some fresh mozzarella, some pineapple, some pancetta that I did, and I mixed it with the salt pork so it stretches it out a little bit. I've got some Canadian bacon, little baby slices, some fresh spinach, fresh tomatoes. I love these Campari tomatoes this time of year, and fresh basil. The whole kitchen smells like basil right now. My dough, it has risen, as you can see. I actually set it down on the counter a little too hard and it kind of started to fall. But that's okay, we're gonna push it down here in a second. So I'm gonna get to this cheese. So you can see firsthand how well this cheese holds up. So what I do is cut that end wax off, and this was mozzarella, I was right. And you can see, this cheese, it's been in my garage refrigerator in just a nice cool environment, so in the summer it's not sweating, for a year and a half. And it does. It tastes like, well, a more sharp mozzarella, I should say. Maybe not a cheddar, for sure. So then I just get my knife down under that wax and split the side, because you don't want to waste anything, right? Peel that off. Now you can wash this wax with hot soapy water and sanitize it and remelt it and reuse it if you want to. I am not going to do that. I've stated in my video, my next wax will be the black that you can order. If you go to a cheese waxing website, you get the option of black, yellow, or red, and I would use blacks. So you can see there's no mold, there's no moisture on there. It's really perfect. And now we're gonna see how well it grades. Sometimes they get a little crumbly, just like a sharp cheddar would. So let's see what we got. Oh, I need to change batteries, so I'm gonna be right back. Well, let me start the grading process anyway. And this poor little grater has been in my kitchen for, let's see, About 30 years. Okay. See how it's grating? Nice. Nice texture. It's beautiful. The block is not falling apart, but yum. All right, guys. I'll change batteries and get finished with that grating thing, and we'll be right back and we'll get working with the dough. Okay, so as you can see, I've got this cutting board full of all the stuff we need, my pasta or my pizza sauce, all the condiments and additives we're gonna put on that pizza, only we're gonna make little mini pizzas. These are gonna be absolutely a favorite for your Super Bowl party. So as I said, I kind of tapped this down a bit, and so it started to collapse anyway. Some of the air. This is a beautiful dough. So you just want to you got to get your hands in there. Sorry. It's part of the deal. And this dough, I gave it about an hour and a half actually. You know, I just went about my business and did what I had to do. But I've got a nice pliable dough that's not sticking in my hands. And maybe I'll leave this bowl out so I can, just don't want it in the way. Yeah. We'll go ahead and see if we can't, because this dough's had plenty of time to rest. So I just want to get golf ball size pieces. And you're gonna start working the edge. Doesn't have to be perfect, and if you can't get it perfect, don't worry about it. So you want this so your guests can actually, try more than just one little pizza. I mean, my gosh, if I've got the choices that I have out here, I'm gonna want more than one. I want to try all of them, or I want to try at least 2 or 3 of them, and they can kind of pace themselves. So really, this is a good size. You can get this as big as you want. If you want to stretch it, pick it up and stretch it out a little bit for a thinner crust. But just push it out there. And then we'll grab the next one and keep working. And maybe I'll just put those right onto, I think I will put those right onto my tray that has some cornmeal down on it. It's got parchment and foil lined pan. I've got my coarse ground cornmeal, and I'm just gonna put that down on where I'm gonna be cooking. I've got my oven, my little on the counter oven, preheated to 425 degrees, and didn't need that. Or maybe I did. Maybe I'll keep part of that. Just to the part where I need to work the dough. And so I'm going to put that up here in the corner, and it's going right down on the cornmeal. With this sheet, so I have a little working area. I don't know what that is. And then we'll get the next piece of dough. Again, golf ball, maybe a little bigger, but get all your air bubbles out. Start working. It doesn't have to be perfect. It could be rectangles for that matter. The dough's had time to rest, and really you've got a way to work with it. Okay, and we're just gonna make the rest of these, and then I'll bring you back for topping everything. Okay, so I've got 9 of these rolled out. There's still a little bit more dough, probably enough for, I'm gonna guess, I'm hoping 6 more. Anyway, it'll kind of give you an idea of how much you would need if you were going to do a whole Super Bowl. These can be cooked up ahead. You can cook them all at once. Anyways, I'm going to put this in my 425 degree oven for 5 minutes. All I want to do is start that dough setting, because I don't want a soggy crust. So I'll be right back. Okay, I can't tell you how good it smells right now. These are starting to get puffy, so it's going to be like a little deep dish pizza. I love doing this pizza dough in a little cast iron frying pan. Those make wonderful deep dish pizzas too. I might even do that with what's left over. Okay, so you just smear down your sauce, and this is enough sauce. I mean, if you're gonna do a big Super Bowl party, you want everybody to get plenty to eat. You know, if they're drinking beer or whatever they're doing, you know, make sure that their tummies are full and they just can relax and watch football. And I like my pizza with some sauce on it. I don't like it scrimpy. You know, you don't want it too soupy saucy, but I definitely want some sauce. And the pizzas that I'm putting together today, you gotta have some sauce. Oh, how fun. Okay. And I was gonna open pepperoni and all that, but I thought, you know, you guys can get the gist of it. So for this, I'm gonna add some medium rare sliced New York strip steak and just cover the whole top of that with those slices of that strip steak. Oh, doesn't that look good? I could eat that right there. Okay, and I think I have enough for 3 easily. So we'll do 3 of those out of the 9, and there you go. Oh, and a couple bites for the chef. And then this one's gonna get topped with gorgonzola. You could top it with blue cheese, anything you want. This is kind of a type of blue cheese, so I'm just gonna put a nice little mountain of that right on the top. Who doesn't like that? I love blue cheese and a butter compote with my steak. Just absolutely delicious. Not a diet food, but in this small portion, you can have it. You don't have to eat 10 of them. I'll eat 1 of those and be just happy as can be. I know I'm gonna wanna taste the rest of them though. Okay, so there's that one. And just because we wanna be a little on the healthy side, I'm gonna tuck some spinach up under some of that steak. Why not? A little bit of green under there, just tuck it up. Oh yeah, I've got vegetables. There's veggies on that. Okay, fix it all up, and there you go. How pretty. Okay, next we have my Hawaiian pizza. Ooh, so I get these little, nice little thin pieces of Canadian bacon. And you don't want to scrimp on this at all. You want to make sure that you put enough on here that somebody knows they had some Canadian bacon. And I think it was $2 for this package. It has 34 slices in there. It's enough to do a giant pizza. I probably could have got this cheaper at Walmart, but I had to go get the pancetta, remember? Okay. Little pinwheel of that. Oh, God, I love Canadian bacon. For all my Canadian friends out there, it's probably not the kind of Canadian bacon you're used to, but anyway, so that's on there. And then I'm going to put, and I'm using my fingers, my hands are clean, I'm going to put just some pineapple tidbits I got in the can. And I love pineapple and ham, and then that sauce, for some reason, it just works. It really does. And you could put your cheese underneath if you wanted. I like to see the cheese. I like to know that there's cheese and, whoops. And that we're gonna have this cheesy fest. So I'm going to put that shredded mozzarella, just a tablespoon or so right there. Again, it's nice to have that portion control. Oh, these are coming together so beautiful. Okay, now we're going to move on to, oh, the one I've been waiting for. No, kidding. This is really good though, I will tell you that. It's delicious. So we want to put a couple pieces to cover the bottom of the fresh mozzarella, or if it takes 1 piece is plenty, then that's fine. I don't want to scrimp on it, so we're gonna make sure we have enough. And right there, okay. And then we want some of the Campari tomatoes. Put 3 down on those. Oh, beautiful. And there. Beautiful. A little bit. And this is why we don't mind if it's got some salt to it, because it only gets a couple little pieces, maybe 3 or 4 pieces of the pancetta and salt pork down on that. You don't want, that's not the star of the show. It's just the complement. Yeah, I'll leave that one. And we'll put one more over here and one more over there. So you just have a little bit on there. And then each one is going to get a couple of beautiful basil leaves down on the top of that. Ah, doesn't that look good? You guys, you gotta know this is going to be delicious. I'm just going to cut that one in half. There we go. And maybe that one. Tear it. It starts releasing the oils when you tear into them. Okay, now for that one, it's not done. Gotta get some extra virgin olive oil down on that. Just a drizzle over the top of that basil. And let it drip down over the top there. And then we're gonna go ahead and add our fresh Parmesan on the top of that. And I don't know about you, but this is Super Bowl food at its finest. My husband's going to be so excited when he sees these. All right, so that's going to go back in the oven until the cheese is melty and gooey, and it's absolutely delicious. And I'll bring you back for the taste test. Okay, so while those pizzas are in the oven finishing up, I am going to give you another pizza. I'm drizzling down some olive oil in this little cast iron pan. We're going to do a deep dish pizza with the leftover dough. And you could do these. These would be great to serve your guests. They even have smaller frying pans. Those would be fun if you were having a dinner party, to do a deep dish dinner party. Wouldn't that be fun? So we're going to take this dough and make sure it says, okay, I'm ready to. It doesn't want to. It's trying to spring back on itself. Sometimes if you don't let it rest, and this is probably a little thin for this size pan, but mend that hole in the middle. Get all your thick spots. And push that hole together. There you go. There you go. Now, after those come out, and this is going to kind of rise right here. After those come out of the oven, we're going to go ahead and put this one in to get that top done and bake it off. So that's what I'm going to do with the rest of that dough, and I'll make you a little mini deep dish. All right, guys. Super Bowl, so much fun. Right, okay, now they're out of the oven and they're just sizzly and bubbly, and look at that. I'm so excited. I can't wait to have one. So I'm gonna turn you off, get these on the platter, how I would serve them, and I'll be right back. So before I bring out the smaller pizzas, I wanted to show you what I did with the rest of the dough. I made a Hawaiian pizza here, and it's just sizzling in that cast iron skillet. But how fun would this be for a dinner party, for everybody to have their own cast iron? Bring your own cast iron pan, the size you want, the size of pizza you want. That'd be fun to do outside on the grill. It just makes for a fun presentation, or a couple to share the pizza. And it's got this beautiful crispy bottom. Oh my gosh, hope you can see that in here. See how brown that bottom got? That's definitely delicious. I'm not going to eat this one. I'm going to save this one for my husband's daughter when she gets home, and she can have homemade pizza, and I'll have one of the little ones for myself. So anyways, I just wanted to show you that, and I hope that, you know, as always, it inspires you. Now let's get to the little ones because they're so cute. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got these on a platter. I did drizzle some balsamic vinegar down over the ones with the tomato and the basil just to bring it all together. And then I like on the pineapple and ham, I don't know why, I love crushed red pepper flakes with a little bit of grated Parmesan right down on top. And I don't even mind if it's the dried stuff. Right down on top of that. Okay, now I want a bite. Let's see. I don't know, I think I better try the steak. Look at that, got a nice little crust on the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that. Nice little brown crust there on the bottom. So there's my mini pizza. It's just about, you know, 3 inches across, and it's not screaming hot anymore, so I'm gonna take a bite. New York steak with gorgonzola. Ugh. Hold on. Wow. That dough is just absolutely delicious. It's chewy, and you can taste that hint of garlic in the background of the dough. The gorgonzola is like to die for. Wow. That is really decadent. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I hope this inspires you to step outside the box. If you want to have pizza for Super Bowl, make a big one, make some small ones, make it different, try something new. You know, it's not that hard, and takeout pizza is expensive. This cost me next to nothing, really, in ingredients if you break it all down. I used some leftovers. I used stuff I already had in my pantry and in my refrigerator. And I actually stretched $1 along the way. So we have enough ingredients left to make a couple large pizzas. All I've got to do is make an extra batch of dough. And dough costs nothing. Okay, guys. I hope if you like this, you give me a thumbs up. And if you really like it, go ahead and share it on your Facebook page. Send me your email address and I'll mail you one of these. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, maybe share it with somebody else at work. And as always, guys, I hope you come back. I hope that you stay along for all the videos I have coming up because I've got some really good ideas. So I'll see you next time. God bless.